Hello and a warm welcome to our channel. Students, here we'll guide you to score your best marks in your ICSE and ISC examination, and I personally will guide you to get your best marks in your language and literature in your ICSE and ISC examination. Children, I'm not just saying it out of the air. My students have scored really well and have come as close to scoring 97 and 99 in the examination, and here I wish that all of you, those students, hardworking students, also achieve that. Now, how I'm going to help you? There are lots of teachers out there on YouTube who are going to do the explanation for you, give you question answers. So what makes me different? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you your guide to score best marks in ISC and ISCSC. And how I'm going to do that? I'm going to provide you techniques for writing good answers. One of the things that we feel, especially after coming to class 11, is that we do not know how to tackle answer writing. We do know that we are familiar with writing 3 to 4 marks RTC questions, but we're not familiar with how to write those 5 marks and 10 marks answers. So specifically, I'll give you the techniques for writing good answers. More than that, I'm going to give you certain keywords which will fetch you marks, automatically fetch you marks and help you to get more marks. And I'm going to give you the explanation of important portions. So not only keywords, but what important portions should you be focusing on from your play, prose and poems. And most of all, I'm going to give you important questions for boards, questions which you actually practice are going to help you prepare for the questions that are going to come in the boards, or questions which could come in your boards. So that is why, and I'm going to begin with the chapter that's there, the chapter by Roald Dahl, that is Great Automatic Grammatizator, a grammatizator machine. I'm going to begin with that, and I hope that you follow me in this journey and get the best marks possible for you. Thank you.
Hello and a warm welcome, students. Today I'll be teaching you Roald Dahl's chapter that's a part of your syllabus, which is the Great Automatic Grammatizer. It's a part of your IC syllabus. Now, since you're new to the channel, I just want to introduce you that what I would want you to do, or what I would want to improve, what I would want to do to improve your performance, is not just explain you the chapter, because I know you could get this explanation from anywhere, but rather I would focus on those important extracts from where you could get the question. So for today's video, I'm going to focus on 2 to 4 important extracts and make sure that you understand them. And after the end of the video, I'm also going to tell you these foolproof techniques through which you can get really good marks in your ISC. My students have followed these techniques and have gotten really good marks in the ISC, and I wish that all of you out there would do the same. Now, before we begin the chapter, we have to remember that the Great Automatic Grammatizer was written by Roald Dahl. He's one of those writers who's written a lot of books which are for the children, but this is the first time that in ISC syllabus that we are going to study for this year. Previous year also you had a chapter called The Sound Machine, which was written by Roald Dahl, which was similar to this. Now, without further delay, let's start the chapter. Okay. Now, the Great Automatic Grammatizer. Now, as you can see, I have marked a certain section from the first page itself, and I would wish that you do the same. So, what is it talking about? It tells that the building of the Great Automatic Computing Machine ordered by the government some time ago is now complete. It is probably the fastest electronic calculating machine in the world today. Its function is to satisfy the ever-increasing need of science, industry, and administration for the rapid mathematical calculation, which in the past by traditional methods would have been physically impossible or would have required more time than the problems justified. The speed with which the new engine works, said Mr. Bolin, head of the firm Electrical Engineers mainly responsible for its construction, please underline those 2 lines, may be grasped by the fact that it can provide the correct answer in 5 seconds to the problems that would occupy a mathematician for a month. In 3 minutes, it can produce a calculation that by hand, if it were possible, would fill 500,000 sheets of foolscap paper. The automatic computing machine uses pulses of electricity generated at the rate of 5 million a second to solve all the calculations that resolve themselves into addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. For practical purpose, there is no limit to what it can do. Now, why is this section important, students? This section is important because this tells us or gives us the premise of what this calculating scientific machine could do. It gains relevance. It is important because later on, when and if a question comes between a comparison between this machine and the other machine, then this paragraph is where you're going to focus at. So that is why it is very important. Now let's go to the explanation. What does it say? Now we have been just introduced to the chapter and we've been told how Mr. Bolan is someone who is what? Who is actually the boss of Adolph Knipe, and they're having this conversation where in the papers this person Adolph Knipe had been praised a lot, and this is what he actually is talking about, and this is what the information in the newspaper says. The building of the great automatic computing engine was ordered by the government. So it's not a personal venture, it is something that the government want, a scientific venture that the government wanted, and is now complete. And what does it say? It is probably the fastest electronic calculating machine, very easy to understand. Its function is to satisfy the ever increasing need of science, industry and administration. So everything related to outside world or outworldly, something that's associated with the outside world, that is there for rapid mathematical, so very scientific, nothing personal, everything very professional. Okay, rapid mathematical calculation. So when you're writing an answer for ISC, try and mention how this scientific machine represents what? It represents the sphere of world, spheres of world, or it represents the worldly spheres. Okay, now by traditional method would have been physically impossible, but this machine had made it possible. The speed with which Mr. Bolan then says the new machine worked. And who was Mr. Bolan? He was the he was the head of the firm of electrical engineers. So could come as an MCQ. As and why, when I will come across certain sections, I will guide you, students, I'll guide you, and I'll tell you what is important and what is not important, and what are the sections that you should focus on for your 5-mark question, MCQ questions, or the long questions. And in this way, I hope and wish that all of you out there gain really good marks and get good understanding, because my focus here is not just the explanation, which I'm sure you'll get in any other YouTube videos here, but my focus here is that you get your best marks. So that is why I'm going to make sure that happens for all of you. Now, so mainly responsible for its construction may be grasped by the fact that it can provide. So what is this machine doing? It is providing correct answer in 5 seconds to a problem that would have led a mathematician to solve in 3 months. In a month, not 3 months, in a month. In 3 minutes, it can produce a calculation that were possible, but if it were possible, perhaps it wouldn't be possible, but by hand it would be possible. It would take a half a million sheet of foolscap paper. This automatic machine, now what does it use? It uses electricity, which is generated at a rate of million a second to solve all the calculation, and there is no limit. So this is a wonder machine introduced by Mr. Bolan's company and Mr. Bolan and by Adolph Knipe under the leadership of Mr. Bolan. So this is very important, children. Why is it important? Because again, this part can come later on with the comparison of the other machine, that is a great automatic grammatizer, or it can tell you, or it tells us, or it presents us that scientific, professional, public, worldly significance that this machine holds. Now, coming to page number 43. Okay, at exactly that moment, his eyes and mouth began to open in a sort of wonder, and slowly he raised his head and became still, absolutely motionless, gazing at the wall opposite with this look that was perhaps of astonishment, that of wonder, but quite fixed now, unmoving, and remaining thus for 40-50 seconds. And gradually the head of still motionless, a subtle change spreading over the face, astonishment becoming pleasure, very slightly at first, only around the corners of the mouth, increasing gradually, spreading out until at last the whole face was open wide, The whole face was open wide and shining with extreme delight. It was the first time Adolph Knipe had smiled in many, many months. So there, after the beginning, we get to know that Adolph Knipe, despite creating this machine, despite inventing this machine, is not at all happy. He's a significant part of it. His boss is happy, but he's not happy. Here we see another element of Adolph Knipe character, where we get to see how this man is someone who's interested in writing stories. And how can we justify that? We cannot just write in a paper that he's a person who was interested in writing stories. This is the passage where, this is the extract where which we are going to use to justify that. So at exactly that moment, when his eyes and mouth began slowly to open in a sort of wonder, so he's surprised, and slowly when he's raising his head and he's becoming very still, he's very motionless, so he's in a state of excitement, he's motionless, gazing at the wall opposite with his looks that was more perhaps of astonishment. So he's very surprised than of wonder, but it's fixed now, it's unmoving, and for 50-40 seconds it's unmoving. So the buzz of electricity that you people feel, okay, my eureka moment. Then gradually the head still motionless, but a subtle change have come. Astonishment has become what? Pleasure. So again telling that this man enjoys this activity. Very slight at first, only around the corner of the mouth, and then it's increasing gradually, spreading out until at last the whole face was open wide. He was shining, it was smiling, he was delightful, and this was the first time that it smiled. So it shows us Adolph Knipe's dedication to the world of stories, Adolph Knipe's dedication to something that actually excited him and filled him with passion. So my dear students, for today's video I have discussed two important extracts with you. I wish and I hope this have been real. These two extracts and the explanation and the guidance has been really helpful for all of you. If you wish to get more, please comment down and tell me and share your feedback. I'll be coming with more of these lessons, and I'll be helping you more here in this journey of getting the best marks for your ICSE and ISC. Thank you.
So I hope students you have liked the explanation that I've put out there. Stay tuned for part 2. Tell me if this video was really helpful to you, and if you want a part 2 for the Great Automatic Grammatizator chapter. And after the part 2, as promised, I'll help you and I'll guide you and I'll give you tips and tricks or techniques for writing best answers with reference to this chapter. Stay tuned. I hope you'll be a part of this journey and get good marks. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Keep studying. Keep working hard.